Welcome back to another episode of Kate and Isaiah Living Large. I'm Isaiah.
And I'm Kate.
And again, on this episode, this is part 2. We are again joined by Alisha. And this week, we are going to talk about body image and how we perceive ourselves, and maybe a little bit of media kind of coverage. But before we begin, a little bit of a life update from you, Caitlin. What do you got?
Yeah, I for the first time since May, I weighed myself on Friday, and I was precisely the same weight I was the last time I weighed myself, and that was 197, which is down about 50 beginning, which is great. But it hasn't changed in the last 2 months, which is, there's two possible outlooks of that, like, a little bit disappointing that I'm not losing more. But as I said from the beginning, that's not what this is about. It's about feeling good. And I feel great. I also did like a bench press from the floor with barbells.
Barbells. For those of you not listening, she just squeezed her hands together like a child
and lifted 3 pounds in each hand from the floor. So it's pretty hefty, and I'm feeling pretty good about that on Friday. So all in all, feeling good about it all. And I wanted to come clean you all that I hadn't weighed myself in so long, because this podcast is all about accountability, and I wasn't necessarily. So there it is.
I am also being very terrible and not accountable and I haven't weighed myself in probably a month-ish. I need to start weighing myself again and being more accountable. I've been on and off getting to the gym, so I haven't really been accountable for that stuff either. I really need to make sure I get back and trying to get into adjusting my schedule and finding the right schedule now, because summer has kind of put a weird damper on schedules.
I'm thinking about setting myself a new goal to lose another 50. I think I'm gonna try to do that.
All right, that's it. No, definitely a good goal. We reevaluating goals every so often is always a good choice, right?
Yeah.
But let's get into the topic at hand. Let's talk a little bit about body image. So I think we should start off with, we kind of talked a little bit on the last podcast about J-Lo and how it made you a little more body positive at that time, Alisha.
Yeah, in a ridiculous way. I was obsessed with her at the time, but yeah, just because she was curvy, like air quotes curvy, and had a big bum. And I thought, oh, yay, a new big girl on the scene. And that's just, like I was saying, that's kind of sad, because I was really young at the time, like 12 or 13. And that's like what I was like striving, like looking up to. And yeah.
In no way is J-Lo a big girl when you look at it from a pure, holy crap, she's she's got a curvy butt, but she is not a big girl comparatively. or many other average women,
people. Right?
and it's true what you say, and I kind of remember when she, particularly as a musician, she had acted before, and
she was a fly girl originally. Actually,
she was a fly girl. That is true, and continues to and it's like her booty came on the scene, and that's all everybody could talk about, and it was like that was supposed to be this big encouraging moment. And I remember I was somewhere in that neighborhood when that was all going on, and was like, cool, but if that's what we're classifying as a big girl, I'm Bob, because and then compared to now, I was certainly above average size, but not size 4, that, which is it was just bigger than J-Lo and bigger than anything else. For me, and I've had this, I've talked about this before, where I was just a really tall kid. I wasn't a fat kid early on. I was just tallest, heads and shoulders taller than, and that led to this feeling of just being monstrous size, and that just to the point where I've got this like, well, who's ever gonna like me? This monster. I don't know about you, Isaiah. Like we talked about your story before, where you kind of started out as a
As a
Skinny
skinny
kid,
kid, and at least you can attest to that. I was a skinny kid.
Super, super, super skinny.
For those who forget, Alisha and Isaiah are cousins.
Yes. So if you didn't listen to part one, yes. Yeah. So I was always a super skinny kid until about middle school. We talked about this before. In middle school, I kind of discovered food, but I was still kind of I wasn't overweight, and I was pretty okay weighted at that point. And then as time went on, I started eating and gaining more weight. Alisha, what about you? What tell me about your weight journey when you were? Because we talked about it last week that we talked a little bit about. You were very positive about your body. You felt like you were good, but looking back, you were like, oh, I definitely was skinnier then than I am now.
Yeah, like even during that like J-Lo period. That's what we're using for timeline.
Circling 1997 green dress, right?
Shout out J-Lo. No, it was, I'm even rocking her bun. It was the big bun. It was, what was that song called?
Jenny from the Block?
No, not Jenny from the Block.
Waiting for Tonight.
No, the one where Ben Affleck is on the boat and...
don't know. Someone will.
She's wearing the jeans and the white tank top and the big hoops.
Yeah.
If You Want My Love, is that what it was called?
That gave you
there you go. That's the one. But I was a size 5. Like I was just sitting here trying to remember I was a size 5, thinking like, hey, big girls. What the hell? But yeah, I guess it's kind of been up and down though, right? Because I was still. Like just compared to the girls that I was hanging out with and stuff, I guess I was considered bigger, but I never really had an issue with my body. Like I thought that I had a good
which is great. I commend that. It is something that I don't want to say I'm jealous of that, but at that age, if I had any kind of positive relationship with my body, that would have been tremendous for me because I continue to in a lot of ways because of my own relationship with my body. I often will try to make myself as small as possible and don't like being in large crowds because I'm constantly a footprint or the amount of space that I take up in any moment. And I've talked about my fear of chairs before, and these are real considerations where I just am constantly trying to shrink in the moment. And if you know me at all, I'm generally a confident person, confident in my abilities, confident to a whole myriad of things. But when it comes to just my own relationship with my body, and started from a very young age, I just wanted to and ultimately as an adult, as a 40-year-old woman, I know that these things don't matter because I'm growing much more confident in my body, although it's a process. But it is such a tremendous thing, the things that we say to young children and the things that our parents say to us out of pure love and concern in many cases. Like, you better eat those vegetables, you better stay away from that dessert, looking like you're gaining a little bit of weight. You don't want to do that. It was just like this obsession, and it's like, I can't be that. And plus when you're already like I was fully grown, 5'7" by the time I was in grade 5 or grade 6. So it's just like when you're in grade 6 and you have a crush on a boy who is 5'2", and you're like, I mean, like, you're a giant. And it really takes a toll on you.
Size definitely makes a difference too, right? So Alisha, how tall are you again?
4'11".
4'11". So like, definitely size makes a huge difference on the height and change your perspective of how your body looks well. And we touched on it a while ago, but we'll talk about it at length at some point. The BMI is so dumb when it comes to that, right? Like, well, I don't know what the BMI for 4'11" would be, but
105. That's what they told me. I should be between 95 and 105 pounds.
That's crazy.
And even as someone who's 4'11", like I'm right now, speaking of weighing, like I just never, like getting on a scale was just not really something that I've done. over like the last few years, and I got on a scale, and the last time I weighed myself, I was 173 pounds. And I mean, that for me, that's not ideal because I can feel it in my body too, right? But to be 100, I have been 105 pounds before, and I was not healthy.
Right.
Like I wasn't eating, I wasn't doing anything, So I'm like, now I have doctors trying to tell me I should be like, I would be like, nobody can see me, but like very tiny.
Some people can see it. You watch it on YouTube.
Okay, this small.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge part, and I think it's a weird image to like think about. I know, like when I look in the mirror, we talked about this before. Looking in the mirror, it's you're looking at all the good looking points and trying to ignore or be blinded to the not so nice angles. Even when you're doing like pictures and things like that, right? Like that's everyone always tries to aim for their best angles. The comedy joke on all kinds of shows, right? Make sure you get my good side.
Right. And and the good side is from above. That's the angle. That's the classic millennial angle. That's it for me. And, and kind of mention this too, is when you look at yourself in the mirror, or when I look at myself in the mirror, I look at the things that I like and I think, okay, did pretty good today. It's when somebody catches an odd photo or you walk by a mirror and you're like, oh no, I didn't know my stomach stuck out that far and my butt stuck out as far the other side. I don't like that. Like, please make it stop. Take these mirrors away. and it's just not fair. Like it's not fair to yourself to feel those things. I think it's completely normal to feel those things. But one of the things that I've been working on for myself this year, and I think really so many people, so many women especially, but in general, is to just be kind to yourself, whatever stage you're at, because the body is a incredible thing. You can walk places and can move your arms. You can test yourself. Like Isaiah and I did that 5K beer run this year. Like run, walk, stumble, crawl. And our bodies did that, and they did that for us. And your whole body is a temple thing. Well, it's true. Your body has done a lot for you, and my body's done a lot for me. And really need to celebrate that as humans, even at whatever size it is. Like, you can work on yourself and try to be healthier and all of these things, but if you're not happy in the moment and celebrating your body and yourself in the moment. Point. Wow, that was a soliloquy. Wow. from a male perspective, Isaiah, and not necessarily weight related, what are things like do you struggle with in terms of body image? Like, do you worry about, and what did you and your friends talk about in the locker room besides girls?
Besides girls, I think like a big thing in it really stems from the sports side of the world that I existed in high school. Was a lot about lifting weights and how much can you bench press and how much can you lift over your head and all that kind of thing. And that's kind of a point of contention. And then of course it's always the you have man boobs, which is always a thing that kids tease kids tease bigger people about it, right? Bigger kid, right? It's always you have maneuvers. And I've always struggled with that in my body images. We talked about it when in our beach wear episode where I like to wear shirts in the water because I kind of struggle with that kind of image of myself. I don't have the six pack or the pelvic V, which is always something that everyone seems to strive for. But that's typically my struggle, and that always has been. And then of course, how much can you lift?
You even lift, bro. And what about you, Alisha? Like, you talked about being generally secure in your body growing up, and even now, I met you for the first time today, as I mentioned, and you walk into a room or up a road, like you freaking own the place. And it's such an admirable quality. Like you're like in charge of whatever you tackle. And it's such a infectious, wonderful thing to be around. It's actually inspirational, just the vibe and mood itself. Like, how do you achieve that every day?
Well, I like I said, right now it's been harder. This has been the hardest. When I was younger, here's the thing, is like I had lots of older guys, like, because I developed super early as well, right? So I had lots of older guys kind of praising my body and all of that. And because I didn't have like a healthy, like anybody to tell me like, Alisha, like, you don't want that kind, you know what I mean? You don't want that kind of attention. That's not healthy. Those guys are like perverts and predators and that kind of thing. But that's kind of the image that I, upheld. And like, that was it for me. Like I took that, I have this good body. This is what I have going for me. And I kind of made it like part of my identity. And so now, with the weight gain and all of that kind of stuff, it's like, this is a very new feeling to me. Like very, very new. Like looking, like you were saying, looking at pictures or walking by a mirror and being like, oh my God. Oh, wow. Like what's happening right now? Like I didn't realize that I got that big. And I've struggled so much lately because I'm a pretty confident person. Like I've always, so it's kind of hard now. But the thing is too, is like, it's funny how until you see the pictures, you were having a good moment. You know what I mean? Right. Like I just went to the Kingsbury Garden with my stepmom and my sister yesterday. And like I was on the wait list, Isaiah. I had waited. Okay, Isaiah calls it pre-order. I waited for this dress and I was so excited about it. And I put on the dress and I like looked in the mirror and like looked really quickly. And I was like, yep, okay, cool. Look good. Cause like I don't spend too much time like staring. It's just not something I do. But then when I saw the picture, like we were taking pictures, I was like, oh my God. But I felt so good in the dress until I saw a picture and then didn't. And I'm like, but who told, like, where's that idea coming from that I didn't look good? Because I felt good and I was still having a really good time.
And then it's kind of almost stolen from you inside your own mind. And it's like this mind trap that we live in of it's robbing us of good moments. So we can either ditch pictures, which is not actually a good idea, or just relish those good times. And, if you're feeling confident and strong and good and you love your outfit and feel like you look fab, why let this one opinion, which could have even just been a bad camera angle, ruin it? And like it's so easy to say to someone else.
It's so easy to say to someone else.
Yeah. Like you're a stunning woman, Isaiah, you're a good looking guy, and I see that, and you're Isaiah, you're my friend and I adore you, and that's the person I see. And I'm sure that's what people see when they look at me, their friend who is this person and whatever. But when I look at myself, I'm getting better. Like I really am. Like I have worked on it. So I can see like, okay, well, it's pretty good. And that kind of stuff. But it's like, oh, I just can't. And and that's fine. And can almost sit with your feelings and then move forward, but acknowledge, be like, yeah, great, that's society's conditioned me to feel this way.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for me, in the last like couple weeks, I knew I kind of was self-conscious of my hair and I like going bald.
You're bald?
Yeah, I know, right? But it wasn't until like the other day that I realized like when I don't cut my hair, and I like wait, I don't like to go out until I actually like go back and cut my hair. Like I was thinking the other day, I was sitting around and we hadn't really gone out to do anything, and then I realized I hadn't cut my hair, and self-conscious of myself, like thinking, oh, I hadn't cut my hair. I don't like the way I look without my haircut at this point, because I go straight bald. But if I don't shave, it's like I have like the Friar Tuck kind of look going on. And I obviously that I don't like the way I look when I do that. So luckily I look okay when I'm bald, which Good.
I mean, and the truth is, here, I'm going to hit you with a hard truth, everyone.
Oh no.
Everyone is so self-absorbed, all of us included, that nobody's really looking at any of us.
I know.
For the most part. Like, yeah, people check us out and be like, well, he's not, whatever. But those are quick, like 10-second things. For the most part, people are too self-involved to really focus on our own. Oh, did Isaiah not cut his hair today? Ill. Look at a little Friar Tucky. Nobody's ever thought that.
Listen,
Certainly, which me.
Listen, I am the main character. This is I am the main character in the world.
Yeah.
You see, it's a family thing.
I mean, I could be part of that family.
You mean I'm not the main character?
You can't be. I'm here.
Oh, sorry.
And I was born before you.
I was born before both
And I'm
of
older.
you.
That's true. You were born.
Hence the being born first.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I think for sure. We all seem to feel like we are the main characters in the world, and realistically, there's reasons why people get like hit by cars and stuff because people just aren't paying attention and thinking about themselves and not other people around them. Right? Like that's a big thing that happens. People walk into poles all the time, like not just like paying attention.
Where is this going?
But paying attention to yourself and just thinking about yourself and rather than the world around you is a big thing, right? And they're not paying attention to anything, especially now with everyone on their phones all the time. That makes me sound real old.
Well, all these people on their phones. But it is funny because, well, again, like I said, this is the first time that I'm like actually really, really struggling with it. But like even to the point that like my husband and I, Michael and I, before we were coming here, like I was panicking because I was like, oh my God, everyone's going to see me big. I can't go back to New Brunswick having gained all of this weight. Oh my God. And I just like, was like, why do I even care? Like, who is like going to be like their whole life is going to change because Alicia's gained some weight? Like, do you know what? Like, maybe they might walk into a pole because Alicia's gained weight.
Well, and you know what? And if anybody missed the last episode, you should give it a listen to realize that is actually the last people thinking are about Alisha. Like, I'm so glad Alicia's here and here to give her a hug. Nobody's thinking that she's gained weight. Except for that one bitch. No, I'm just joking.
Fuck you. But really, honestly, if you think about it, like if that's that person's main concern in life, like
that's on them and not you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things we can all intrinsically know that. It's about knowing that in those moments where you have self-doubt and self-awareness and all of those things.
And we just have so much coming at us too, right? Because I know there's been times too where I've lost so much weight and gotten super sad because like now my bum's gone, now my hips are gone, now my boobs are smaller. And it's just like, hey, when will you be, you know what I mean? And it's just like
the hilarious thing for me in terms of my own body image, the minute I start working at it in some way, like the 1 week in where ostensibly I look no different to anyone else, I'm like strutting around like $1 million bucks. It's like, oh yeah, I will work out. And yeah, you should think I'm hot shit because I am. And ostensibly there's been zero change between week 1 and week 2 other than the action I'm taking myself. And so it's like my entire body image is related to what I'm actually doing as opposed to how I actually look. But yeah.
But that's kind of key, right? Is to have your own body positivity. And like we talked about, like when we talked about body positivity before, when Lizzo and her amazingness that is body positivity and
big girls.
Heck yeah. But I think that's kind of the key, is that we need to be body positive for ourselves and try and be more positive on the way we handle ourselves. And it's like, it is a rough thing to say. It's easy to say rather than actually do, but I think that is kind of a key thing.
It is.
But
on that note,
I think we are part 2 episode down.
Isaiah, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, people can find me at Maritime Brews on all of the social medias. What about you, Kate?
They can find me on Instagram at Kate, or on Facebook at Caitlin Dean, or at Kate and Isaiah Living Large, and on X, which will look like a T, at the Caitlin Dean. And what about you, Alisha?
Instagram, Alisha with an A. I have TikTok, but I don't really use it. I also have Threads, and I don't use it.
At that Caitlin on TikTok. I forgot about that
one. Oh my goodness. But I do appreciate everyone listening. And if you are on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get that notification when we post a new episode. But until next week, I thank you all and bye.
Bye. Thank you, Alisha.